Hey everyone, welcome back to e-commerce psychology. We are diving into something today that I think is so important and can really make or break your online store, and that is the liking principle.
Mm,
It's that whole idea that people buy from brands they like.
mm.
It sounds so simple,
Yeah,
but there's actually a lot more to it than you might think, especially in the world of e-commerce, where everything is, online.
right.
And we got this awesome article here by Mohammed Tufekapin, the founder of Growth Suite.
Okay,
It's called The Liking Principle, Building Brand Affinity in Digital Environments. And it's packed with insights.
cool.
And just a heads up, this episode is powered by Growth Suite, by the way.
Okay.
They help you run those smart discount campaigns that can be a game changer for your sales.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're on Shopify, you can test it out for free. Just head over to the Shopify App Store.
Nice.
But back to the liking principle. This article hits on some really interesting stuff like, did you know that a huge 64% of consumers are more likely to buy from brands they like?
Wow, that's a big number.
That's almost two-thirds of your potential customers.
Yeah, you gotta make them like you.
Yeah. So we're going to uncover the secrets to make your brand irresistible online today.
I like it. Let's get into it.
So let's kick things off with, really understanding what the liking principle is all about, especially in today's digital world where first impressions are everything.
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head there. The liking principle, it's one of Cialdini's 6 principles of persuasion, and it's become even more crucial in the e-commerce world. In his book, Cialdini talks about the power of similarity
Huh.
to build trust and rapport, and that's even more true online, where you only have milliseconds to make that connection.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
It's not like you're chatting with someone face to face in a store anymore. You've got to capture their attention instantly.
It's almost like speed dating for brands.
Uh-huh. Exactly.
So let's break down what actually makes a brand likable online. The article points to 3 key psychological drivers: physical attractiveness, similarity, and compliments. Now, when we say physical attractiveness, we're not talking about hiring supermodels,
Right.
but it's about how your brand looks online.
Yeah.
It's your website, design, the colors you use, even the fonts you choose.
It all contributes to that first impression.
It really does.
Think about it. Have you ever landed on a website and just immediately felt turned off by how it looked?
Oh, yeah, totally.
Maybe it's cluttered or confusing or just looks outdated.
Or like it hasn't been updated since 1999.
Exactly. You probably clicked away without a second thought.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Our brains are wired to make these snap judgments, especially online. It's pure System 1 thinking, fast, intuitive, and heavily influenced by visual cues.
So basically, a messy website is like a messy storefront.
Pretty much, yeah.
It just gives off those vibes like, don't come in.
Right. But a well-designed website that's like a welcoming shop window, it draws you in and makes you want to explore more.
I like that analogy.
And don't forget about similarity. That's where connecting with your audience's values comes in. It's not just about selling a product, you're selling a shared vision, a sense of belonging.
That makes sense.
So let's say your target audience is really eco-conscious. You wouldn't just say you're sustainable, you'd showcase that commitment throughout your website.
Right.
Your product choices, your content. You're essentially saying, hey, we get you, we're on the same page.
So it's not just about ticking boxes.
Yeah.
It's about weaving those shared values into your brand's DNA.
Exactly.
So people really feel like they belong.
Yeah, it's like finding your tribe online.
And I'm curious about those digital compliments. How do those work? Because obviously we can't exactly walk around the internet giving out high fives.
Good point.
Sure.
It's more about those subtle cues that make your customer feel seen and valued. Imagine getting a personalized thank you email after a purchase, maybe with a hand-picked product recommendation based on your browsing history.
Okay, I like that.
Or imagine seeing your Instagram post featuring your favorite brand.
Yeah.
It's like that warm, fuzzy feeling of being noticed and appreciated.
It's that surprise and delight element that makes you remember a brand and probably ties into Cialdini's reciprocity principle, right?
For sure.
You do something nice for me, I feel good, and I want to do something nice back.
Exactly.
Like buy your product or tell my friends about you.
That's the goal.
And that's where building true brand affinity comes in. It's not just about awareness or even loyalty. It's deeper than that.
Right. It's about building a real bond with your audience.
So think of it like this: brand awareness is like seeing someone on the street. Loyalty is like being their acquaintance. But
Consistency is key, especially in the digital world. It's about making sure your brand's personality is cohesive across all your online platforms, your website, social media, emails, everything.
Right.
Imagine walking into a really cool modern store, but the staff was rude and the music was jarring.
Yeah.
you'd probably leave pretty quickly, right?
Yeah, it would be a weird disconnect.
It's the same online. If your website looks amazing, but your social media is full of typos and your emails feel impersonal, it creates that disconnect.
You're sending mixed signals.
Exactly, and it erodes trust, especially with so much competition online. You have seconds to make a good impression and even less time to prove you're worth sticking around for.
So you have to establish your brand's personality, its values, its unique voice, and then weave that through every single digital touch point.
That's it. It's like creating a symphony where all the instruments are playing in harmony to create this beautiful, memorable experience.
I love that.
And speaking of memorable experiences, how do we make sure our brand stands out in the crowded online space?
That's the million-dollar question, right?
It is, and the answer lies in the power of emotions.
Okay.
We're not rational creatures, especially when it comes to buying decisions.
This is true. I'm very guilty of emotional purchases.
We all are. Emotions are powerful drivers, and they're amplified online because you're missing those face-to-face cues like body language and tone of voice.
That's a good point.
You've got to evoke those feelings through your visuals, your stories, your interactions.
So how do we do that effectively without coming across as like cheesy or manipulative?
Yeah, you don't want to force it.
Because I've definitely seen brands try too hard.
It can backfire big time.
Big time.
It's about finding that sweet spot between genuine connection and inauthentic manipulation. And luckily, this article dives into some practical tactics we can use to get it right.
Perfect. I'm all ears. Let's get tactical.
Okay.
So let's get into the nitty-gritty here. How do we actually apply the liking principle across our different online channels, like our website, social media emails, even influencer marketing?
Yeah, great question.
Because I feel like a like on Instagram is different from a like on a product page, right?
Totally. You've got to tailor your approach to each platform, but the underlying principles stay the same.
Right.
Let's start with your website. It's like your digital storefront, that first impression for so many potential customers. You want to make it welcoming, easy to navigate, and of course, visually appealing.
Yeah, for sure.
Think about those stores you love to walk into. What makes them so inviting?
Oh, the ones where you just feel comfortable browsing, you know?
Yes.
Maybe they have great lighting or friendly staff or music you enjoy. You don't feel pressured to buy, but you're happy to spend time there.
Exactly. Now translate that online.
Okay.
Is your website easy on the eyes? Is the layout clean and uncluttered? Can visitors find what they're looking for effortlessly? Does your color palette align with your brand and evoke the right emotions? Remember, you're not just selling products, you're selling a feeling and experience.
And all those little user interface elements, like the navigation menu and those add to cart buttons, they had to be intuitive.
Huge.
I've definitely abandoned online shopping carts because I couldn't figure out how to check out.
Yes, happens to the best of us.
Talk about a quick way to kill a like.
Totally. And here's where Cialdini's authority principle comes in.
Okay.
Can you incorporate trust signals like customer testimonials, industry awards, security badges, those kinds of things?
Yeah, that makes you feel more secure.
Right. It's like seeing those framed reviews on the wall of a restaurant. It instantly gives you more confidence to walk in.
I totally agree.
And let's not forget about those shared values we talked about earlier. Make sure they're front and center on your website.
Okay.
Could be a dedicated About Us page, a section highlighting your sustainable practices, or even subtle cues in your product descriptions. You're sending a message to your audience. Hey, we care about the same things you do.
So you're building that rapport.
Exactly.
I like that.
And what about interactive elements on the website? Things like quizzes, polls, or those chat bots that pop up to answer questions. Could those boost likability?
Yeah, I think so. It makes it more fun.
Right. It adds a touch of fun, and personalization makes your website more engaging and memorable.
Yeah.
Think of those stores that offer you a cup of coffee or have those fun little displays you can interact with.
Yeah.
It's about creating an experience, not just a transaction.
Okay, so now let's shift gears and talk about social media.
Okay.
It's a whole different beast.
Right.
It's about being present, engaging in conversations, showing your brand's personality.
It's like the difference between a curated storefront and a bustling marketplace.
Interesting.
On social media, you're interacting with your customers in real time, responding to comments, answering questions, even participating in trending conversations.
Right, it's much more dynamic.
It is.
So how do we stand out in the sea of social media noise and make our brand likable?
Content is king, but it has to be engaging and authentic. Think beyond just posting product photos, show behind the scenes, glimpses of your brand, run fun contests and challenges, host live Q&A sessions, create shareable graphics with inspirational quotes.
I see.
Remember, Similarity liking.
Right.
Highlight your brand's values, showcase your team's personalities, and create content that resonates with your target audience's interests and passions.
It's about being relatable.
Exactly.
And humor, right?
Oh, yeah.
A well-placed meme or a witty caption can really make a brand feel more relatable and human.
For sure, but just like with any joke, you have to know your audience and your brand voice.
Yeah, you don't want to miss the mark.
Forced humor can fall flat, and you definitely don't want to offend anyone.
It's about being playful and genuine, not trying too hard.
Right.
And speaking of genuine favor, how do we handle negative comments or complaints on social media?
Yeah, those are inevitable.
Because let's face it, they're bound to happen.
Transparency and responsiveness are crucial. Don't try to sweep negative comments under the rug or ignore them. Address them head on, acknowledge the issue, and offer a solution.
Right.
Even a simple, "we hear you and we're working on it," can go a long way.
It shows you care.
Exactly. It shows that you're listening, that you care, and that you're human, not just some faceless brand hiding behind a logo.
People appreciate that.
They do, and sometimes a negative comment handled well can actually turn into a positive experience for both the customer and your brand.
Okay, I like that spin on it.
Yeah, turn those negatives into positives.
Now let's talk about email marketing.
Okay.
I feel like email gets a bad rap sometimes, but it can be a really powerful tool for building relationships and nurturing that like factor.
I agree. It's like that handwritten note you get from a friend. It feels more personal and thoughtful than a generic mass-produced card.
Yeah, it feels special.
It does, but you're right. You have to use email strategically.
Okay.
People's inboxes are already overflowing. You
Okay.
have to make your emails stand out and provide value.
So how do we do that?
Personalization is key. Mm-hmm.
No one wants to receive generic, mass-blasted emails that feel like they're being shouted at from a megaphone.
It's not personal.
It's not. Segmentation is your best friend here.
Okay.
Use the data you have about your subscribers, their purchase history, browsing behavior, interests, to create targeted email lists.
Mm-hmm.
Then tailor your content and your offers accordingly.
I see.
Address people by their names, recommend products they might actually like, and celebrate milestones like birthdays or anniversaries with personalized discounts or messages.
So it feels more thoughtful.
Exactly. It's like that feeling of walking into your favorite store and the salesperson greets you by name and remembers your favorite items. It instantly makes you feel valued and appreciated.
Yeah, you feel like a VIP.
Exactly. And don't forget about the power of storytelling in your emails.
Oh, great.
Share your brand story, highlight customer success stories, or even just sprinkle in some personal anecdotes to make your emails feel more human and relatable.
So again, it's not just about selling products. It's
Okay.
about building connections.
That's nurturing relationships.
It's about being that friend in your subscriber's inbox, the one they actually look forward to hearing from.
I like that.
And speaking of building connections, let's talk about influencer marketing, a strategy that can be incredibly effective for boosting brand likability.
Ah, yes, the power of social proof.
Right.
We tend to trust recommendations from people we admire or identify with.
That's the heart of influencer marketing. But here's where it gets tricky. Authenticity is paramount.
Okay.
Partnering with the wrong influencer can actually damage your brand's image.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Imagine a fitness influencer promoting junk food.
Right? It just wouldn't make sense.
It just wouldn't ring true.
So we have to choose our influencer partners carefully.
Very careful.
Look for people whose values align with our brand, who genuinely love our products, and who have a strong, engaged audience that trusts their recommendations.
Exactly, and resist the urge to micromanage them.
Okay.
Let them tell their own stories, share their own experiences, and showcase your brand in a way that feels authentic to them.
Because that's what their audience is there for.
Exactly. It's like getting a recommendation from a friend. It carries more weight than a slick marketing campaign.
It feels more real.
It does.
Now, before we move on to our final part, where we'll explore how to measure the success of these efforts and some crucial ethical considerations.
Okay.
Let's take a quick break, and then we'll come back to wrap things up. All right, so we've talked about all these awesome strategies for building brand affinity online, but how do we actually know if they're working? We can feel good about those connections we're making, but how do we measure that, concretely?
Yeah, that's where the rubber meets the road, right? We need to make sure those warm, fuzzy feelings are actually turning into tangible results. And luckily, there are tons of ways to measure the effectiveness of your brand affinity efforts.
Okay.
It's all about tracking the right metrics and understanding what they're telling you.
So what kind of metrics should we be looking at? What are those telltale signs that people are genuinely connecting with our brand and not just, quickly scrolling by.
Engagement rates are a great starting point. Are people interacting with your content? Are they liking, commenting, sharing, saving your posts? Are they visiting your website and spending time exploring your products or services? These are all positive signals that people are interested in what you have to offer.
And it's not just about the quantity of the engagement, it's about the quality too, right?
Hmm.
Like, are people having meaningful conversations with your brand? Are they tagging friends, writing thoughtful comments, and sharing their own experiences related to your brand? Those are the real gems.
Exactly. Those are the kind of interactions that show real connection and affinity. When people go beyond just a quick, or a fleeting scroll, they're invested in your brand and they want to be part of your story.
I love that, being a part of your story. It's not just about transactions, it's about building a community, a shared experience.
Hmm.
And speaking of experiences, how do we know if people are having positive experiences with our brand?
Sentiment analysis is key here. Are people talking about your brand in a positive light? Are they praising your products or services? Are they recommending you to others? You can use social listening tools to track brand mentions and analyze the overall sentiment surrounding those
So
mentions.
that's interesting. So it's like having a finger on the pulse of public opinion. You
Mm.
can see what people are saying about you and get a sense of whether those perceptions are positive, negative, or neutral.
Right. And then there are those actions that really demonstrate commitment to your brand, things like signing up for your email list, participating in referral programs, or even becoming brand ambassadors.
Those are like the ultimate like, aren't they? It shows they believe in your brand and they're willing to invest in that relationship.
Exactly. Those are the actions that often translate into long-term loyalty and advocacy, the kind of customers who not only buy from you repeatedly, but also rave about your brand to their friends and family.
So how do we actually go about gathering all this data? What are some practical ways to measure these metrics?
Well, most social media platforms and email marketing tools come with built-in analytics dashboards
Right.
that can provide a wealth of information about engagement, website traffic, and even sales conversions.
It's like having a behind-the-scenes look at how people are interacting with your brand.
It is.
You can see what's resonating, what's falling flat, and where there are opportunities to improve.
Exactly. And don't forget about surveys and polls.
Oh yeah, those are good.
You can ask your customers directly about their experiences with your brand, their perceptions of your values, and what they'd like to see more of.
It's like having a conversation with your customers, getting their feedback and insights straight from the source.
It is, and remember, this whole episode is powered by Growth Suite.
Oh, right.
If you're looking for a tool to help you personalize your customer experience and run those smart discount campaigns we talked about earlier, check them out on the Shopify App Store.
Okay.
They offer a free trial so you can see firsthand how they can help you boost brand affinity and drive sales.
Awesome. So we've explored the psychology behind the liking principle. We've learned how to apply it across all those different online channels. And we've even talked about how to measure its effectiveness. But before we wrap things up, there's one more super important aspect we need to touch on: ethical considerations.
Yeah, absolutely. It's easy to get caught up in the excitement of building brand affinity,
Right.
but we always have to remember that we're dealing with real people and their emotions. It's crucial to approach these strategies with a sense of responsibility and integrity.
I totally agree. It's like the old saying, with great power comes great responsibility. We have these powerful tools and techniques at our
We
disposal,
do.
but we need to make sure we're using them ethically and thoughtfully.
Absolutely. Authenticity is key. People can spot fake flattery or manipulation from a mile away.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Make sure your brand's values are genuine and that your actions align with your words.
It's like building any relationship. Trust is earned through consistent honesty and, genuine connection.
Exactly. And when it comes to personalization, be super mindful of privacy concerns.
Okay.
Be transparent about what data you're collecting and how you're using it. Give people the option to opt out if they're not comfortable with it.
So it's about respecting your customers' boundaries,
It is.
making them feel empowered rather than exploited.
Exactly. Building brand affinity, it's a journey, not a destination. It's an ongoing process of connecting with your audience, building trust, and creating those experiences that make people feel good about choosing your brand.
And those good feelings, they'll lead to loyal customers, positive word of mouth, and ultimately business growth.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the liking principle.
It's been fun.
We hope you've gained some valuable insights and practical strategies to help you build a brand that people truly love.
And remember, if you're looking to enhance your customer experience and run smart discount campaigns, be sure to check out Growth Suite on the Shopify App Store.
They can help you turn those likes into lasting relationships and real business success.
Thanks for listening.